There is something very tragic about the character of Palm Siberia. She really hates herself, and that is reflected in her ability where she needs to self-harm to use it. Palm is someone that doesn't know who she is. In the end, people have never respected her, heard what she said. They've always treated her like this absolute weirdo. And this is personified in her relationship with a master Nov that just sees her as a tool for her nanability. She's an enhancer, and yet her ability has nothing to do with enhancements. It's a perfect personification that Palm doesn't know her own identity. She is this mist, this lost cloud that's so angry with herself that she hurts herself and everyone around her. And she lived in this misery all her life. It's all she knew in this toxic love, this wee bit of identification that Nov gave her as a tool was her saving grace until Gon came and he actually saw her as a human being. Now, this is where Palm's core identity was created. Gon actually treated her like a real person, and she wanted to latch onto it. It was the only sense of kindness she had ever felt. She saw she got so overwhelmed with the emotion that she instantly became a lovely woman, a nice girl that was actually good at heart and not this weird, freaky psychopath that everyone thought she was. In those moments where Palm was talking to Bisky, she was really telling Bisky, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to make sure that they're able to actually go and beat Morel's students. I don't want to do anything bad to any of you. But just the way that she was so consumed by this self-hatred made her message become void and misunderstood. But Gon understood her, and Gon was willing to take her on. So she did what anyone that's desperate would have tried to do. She tried to grasp onto Gon, ask him, would you be my boyfriend? The closest form of intimacy that you can get. Gon says yes, and then betrays her. She thought that Gon would be willing to go and do things for her, but Gon had his own identity, his own sense of what he will be doing in the future, his own path charted out, and she felt betrayed. She was even more lost than before, and then she came willing to go and kill Gon and Killua out of a sense of revenge and a renewed emptiness. With Nov Sensei comes, and he tells her, your blood is of use to me. Something quite disgusting, quite shocking about how Togashi plays with really serious themes. There we see that she's completely being used. Nov doesn't care about her in that moment. Thankfully, later on he does, but at this point, she's just being used for her ability. She's got a very overpowered ability which has been fueled by her really unstable mental health. And this is personified where she has no problems being essentially a prostitute for the palace invasion. She's got no sense of self-worth, self-respect, or dignity. She is worthless. Her life has no meaning. And that is when she gets scared and dies. And as Palm is brought back, she is not the person we once knew. She is a chimera ant, an experiment, the ultimate disrespect. The great malice of Shao-Puff is using her as just a test subject for a potential new branch of chimera ants. All her memories intact, but her emotions separated from them. And she's a pawn doing everything Shao-Puff tells her to. That's until she bumps into Killua, and for the first time ever, she has a thought which is greater than emotion. Her sense of purpose started with Gon. Until then, she had no glimmers of hope, and that feeling was so strong that it grew beyond her own emotional scope and became part of her worldview. And she asked Killua about Gon, something that Shao-Puff had surely not told her to do. And it's in that moment that Shao-Puff orders her to attack Killua, and as they're confronting each other, Shao-Puff refers to her as number one. Not even a name. She's not even worth a name. That's how far she has fallen. It's in Killua's refusal to fight her and his mercy that she starts to see herself. She starts to see how all of this has been unfair. The cruelty through Killua and through the victimhood in that moment of himself, she sees her and she finds her own identity. Palm sees herself as someone for the first time in her life. She crushes Perth and says, I am Pound Siberia. I am not number one. And it's something so powerful about that moment of self-discovery. The emotions, the realization. And from that moment is a complete 180 in her character. The entire time, everything to do with her had been focused on other people in the exterior. And here, she is her own biggest supporter. She learns to love herself. And what I love about this portion of the palace invasion is that from this moment onwards, she takes a position of commandment. All the time in the past, it had always been about everyone else but herself. She was telling God and Killua, go and beat Knuckle and shoot. And in the end, she completely disregarded herself. She sold herself short as everyone had made her believe she was not even worth selling. And I love that she actually is the one that really takes charge and is able to game plan for everyone. She takes on this lead role, a leader, someone fierce with passion. And the first thing she does as this leader is she affirms Killua. She says, Killua, you are the person that God needs right now. You are worth more than you think you are. And Killua breaks down crying. It's exactly what he needed. In that moment, Pam had done to Killua what she wanted to have been done to her entire life. She stopped caring about what was fair or unfair. She stopped treating people like she was treated, and she gave Killua pure and genuine kindness. And the character arc comes to a conclusion where King Meruem comes to her peacefully, asking, begging, please let me see Komugi one last time. And Palm, conflicted as this leader, but also now touched base with her own humanity, seeing the world through a different lens. And as reflected within her Nen, no longer does she have to self-harm. She can now see 3 different things at the exact same time. And that shows us just the enlightenment she has gotten as a character. It's the amazing symbolism that Togashi Sensei always sprinkles onto his characters as they develop and change over time. And Palm gives in. She says, I, myself, Palm, know my identity. She now is appreciative for everything that has ever happened to her. And that's the greatest sense of enlightenment. People that reach this inner feeling of understanding are thankful for everything in their life, positive and negative. And there's a clear contrast. All these chimera ants that have gone and remembered their human past, I'm thinking of Welfin, Calgo, etc. They reject the chimera ants within them and they try to latch onto that humanity. Welfin wants to go back to the NGL, serving as King Gyro. Calgo wants to be friends with the NGL members again. And yet Pam accepts both sides of the spectrum. She was a human, she is now a chimera ant, and she accepts them both wholeheartedly, and this really humble and yet quite mature and brave stance. She doesn't want to see King Meruem kneel because she is grateful for the fact that this unfortunate situation has given her this clarity, and she helps insinuates the last moments of the king's life. She, in the end, had one of the most important roles in the Chimera Ant arc. At the beginning, even to us, the audience, she was just used as a gag. The whole joke of her dating Gon, which, to be frank, was pretty funny. But, you know, she was just used as this person that we shouldn't take seriously. She was there with her ominous scribbling with a knife, something that really gave an element of surprise to the arc. She was an addition, an object, a means to an end. And now here she is, the one that has created one of the most impactful moments in Hunter x Hunter, and one that is completely instrumental towards what is widely regarded as Hunter x Hunter's best completed arc. Pound Siberia, a woman with no sense of love in her heart, self-hatred, someone that wishes that she were never born, and now proud, delightful, and appreciative for that pain she suffered. She is the perfect example, and I love that parallel she has of her sensei Nov, where both of them reacted to these mental health crises in completely different ways, the different ends of the spectrum. It broke Nov, but it saved Pound. And I love the fact that Togashi is able to look at the same lens, but from a different angle. And yes, this was my Pound Siberia character analysis. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you love Hunter x Hunter, I recommend subscribing and turning on the notifications. And if you've got a suggestion for a video you'd like me to do, or if you'd like to, give your thoughts on Pound as a character, please leave it down below in the comment section. I hope you've all had an incredible day. This was Hadrigon. Peace out.